one, strong and free. One land and one nation is our cry. Dignity and peace is on their sky. Like a noble eagle in its flight. Zambia, praise to thee, O one, strong and free. Praise be to God, praise be, bless our great Zambia, Zambia, Zambia. Remain we stand under the flag of our land, Zambia, praise to thee, O one, strong and free.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you've committed to our charge. Amen. Okay.
Good afternoon. You are watching Parliament television, and the business of the House is yet to start because the quorum has yet to be constituted.
Honorable members, I have 3 announcements. Honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from the following schools. The first one is Jolly World School in Kalomo District, and Machokoma Secondary School in Kalomo District. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. I thank you. You may take your seats. The second one, honorable members, I have received communication to the effect that in the absence of our honored Vice President, who is attending to other government business, the Minister of Defense, Honorable Ambrose L. Lufuma MP, has been appointed acting leader of government business in the House from today, Wednesday, 30th July 2025, until further notice. I thank you. The last announcement, honorable members, I wish to inform the House that on 12th May 2025, 1 Acre Fund donated 2,000 Musangu trees in support of Madam Speaker's Planted Tree Challenge initiative. In order to promote this initiative in all the constituencies, it has been decided that the trees be distributed among all members of Parliament and selected staff. Each member of Parliament will receive at least 10 trees to be planted within your respective constituencies so as to promote environmental sustainability in your local communities. In this regard, all honorable members of Parliament and selected staff are requested to visit the engineering department to collect your allocated number of trees before you leave for your constituencies on Friday, 1st August 2025. I thank you. We make progress. Urgent matters without notice. Although I had announced yesterday that it's in fact better to visit the ministers in their respective ministries because we are closing on Friday, these matters won't be processed until next September. So for that, please visit the respective ministries so that you are attended to as soon as possible before you leave for your constituency. All the same, the Honorable Member for Lunte.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. Madam, my matter is directed at the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs. In these days of, where our government or our country is shunned by other governments, isn't it important for the government to ensure that they grow diplomatic ties with other countries? Madam Speaker, the Zambian government is now doubting that Edgar Lungu is dead to an extent of writing a letter instructing that they may go to court again, taking Edgar Lungu's family and the South African government to court so that the government can go and inspect and just make sure that Edgar Lungu is dead. Madam Speaker, we had the national mourning in our country. We had the minister coming from South Africa who met the president. We had the president thanking the South African government. But today, the UPND government has turned around. They are doubting whether Edgar Lungu is dead to an extent of thinking that South Africans are now colluding with the Edgar Lungu family. Isn't it important, Madam, for the UPND government to assure the nation that they really don't doubt the South African government and that they don't doubt that a death certificate can be produced in the Republic of South Africa, which actually is a fake death certificate? Madam Speaker, I feel this is a very important matter. It requires clarification. I seek your further direction on the matter.
The Honorable Member for Lunte, that matter, I know it came out somewhere, but I don't think Parliament can stand up and to make a clarification over that. Why can't you find another avenue, or even wait for our honor the Vice President on Friday, so that you can ask her, and I'm sure she's going to give you a response over that. The Honorable Member for Mpika.
Madam Speaker, I thank you so much. Madam Speaker, Zambia is a Christian nation, and the reputation of our country at the international level is very important. What the government does, Madam Speaker, at the international stage builds or destroys our country's reputation. Madam Speaker, it is very concerning by every Zambian that the issue involving the former heads of state's funeral has continued, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as I address this House today, the Zambian government has made a fresh application before the South African court, Madam Speaker, which is very concerning. Madam Speaker, can the government clarify what economic value will this bring to the Zambian people? Their obsession with Edgar Chagwalungu's body. What will it, economic value will it bring to the Zambian people? Madam Speaker, the Zambian people are very much worried.
Honorable member, without maybe spending more time on a matter that is similar to the one that was raised about the former head of state. Honorable member, that matter does not qualify. It doesn't qualify. Nothing has happened in the last 24 hours. The former president died, was it on 5th of June? So this is not something that you can bring under this segment. Kindly find another avenue if you've got a matter that you want to bring to this House. The Honorable Member for Mukushi South.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, order, Kwacha. Madam Speaker,
the Honorable Member for Kasenengwa should have waited. You may continue, Honorable Member.
Madam Speaker, I hope the minutes that are being stolen by these people are not following parliamentary etiquettes will be added to
No
me.
one is stealing your minutes.
Madam Speaker,
continue.
This country, any country to develop, Madam Speaker, is dependent on the private sector participation, more especially promotion of local investments, and also local entrepreneurship. The challenge that we have now, Madam Speaker, the UPND has failed to create employment. And now we have our youths who we call Jerabos. Today, Madam Speaker, in Chingola, a grader has been bent. A roller has been bent because because one investor has been given a mining license where our boys are earning a survival and living. Madam Speaker, it is just prudent that this country must respect the Zambians. You cannot prefer foreign investment to a majority Zambians. Madam Speaker, is the minister...
The Honorable Member for Mukushi, we've got a lot of work.
Madam Speaker, is the Minister of Mines in order to go and disturb the young boys who are trying to make ends meet and prefer to one investor without looking at an alternative way of ensuring that those young boys their lives are also taken care of? Is the minister in order not to come to this House to come and inform us that now you young boys should leave the mine and leave the mine to one investor? I seek your indulgence, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Mukushi, your issue is not specific. You talked about a license, you talked about a grader being bent, so really I don't understand your point of order. Your agent matter without notice. It does not qualify. We make progress. Question for oral answer understanding order number 80. The Honorable Member for Chama North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 396.
The Honorable Minister of Health.
Madam Speaker, Honorable Mutaya Chalo, Chairman North, would like to find out from Minister of Health in A, whether the government has any plans to construct a level 1 hospital in Chawala Chiefdom in Chama North Parliamentary constituency. In B, if so, when the plans will be implemented. And in C, what the estimated cost of the project is. And lastly, if there are no such plans, why? Madam Speaker, in response, the government is aware of the need for expanded health services in Chawala Chiefdom in Chama North Parliamentary constituency. Government's priority is to provide a first-level hospital in districts that do not have one. However, government remains committed to continually assessing and responding to the evolving healthcare needs of all communities.
Order, honorable members. The consultations are becoming louder, distracting the Honorable Minister of Health. Honorable Minister of Health, you may continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. However, government remains committed to continually assessing and responding to the evolving healthcare needs of all communities, including Chama North. As such, Madam Speaker, Chawala Chiefdom in Chama North constituency has been considered for construction and equipping of a modern health care, what is called now mini hospital. In B, Madam Speaker, plans for construction of a modern health center are already underway to begin construction within 2025. In C, the estimated cost of the project is approximately $1.7 million US dollars. In D, Madam Speaker, government has plans, therefore D falls off. I thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions?
Point of order.
There's an indication for a point of order. The Honorable Minister for Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise on a very serious point of order pursuant to Standing Order 212 pertaining to the privileges of members of Parliament. This point of order is on the Honourable Member of Parliament for Lunte, the Honourable Member for Mpika, and the Honourable Member of Parliament for Mukoshi South. Madam Speaker, I have noted with concern that members of Parliament are abusing their privileges. They raise the issues which they know, if they are not in this House, they will be held accountable. They make assertions, make inflammatory statements because they believe that they have immunity on the floor of this House. You have guided on several occasions that members of Parliament must abide by the rules, by the law that governs us here. Members of Parliament have been making defamatory statements against individuals who are not members of this House. They have been making reckless statements which they know are inflammatory. Are the honourable members, Madam Speaker, in order to breach parliamentary privileges according to Standing Order 212, to breach the Constitution of Zambia pertaining to the privileges of members of these privileges under the pretext that they have immunity, what the for Lunte was saying on the floor. The Honourable Member of Mpika was in this House. And the honorable member from Kushi South has been saying, they are saying those things because outside they'll be held accountable. Are they in order to breach privilege house according to Standing Order 204? Are they? They would want to a point of order. Raising are urgent issues, not points of order. The laws, the standing orders are very clear, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Of course, there are privileges of Parliament, but if we abuse these privileges, then we are committing a breach in the House. However, although the honorable members were out of order, I had ruled to say that their matters were not admissible. Their matters were thrown away. They were not considered. I didn't consider all the matters, the 3 matters. So because a ruling was already made, I cannot rule again on the same matter. So we make progress. We make progress. Supplementary questions. The honorable member for Chama North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Minister, for your responses. The Honorable Minister may be aware that the Chiwale Health Facility was constructed...
All the honorable members, if you've got a matter to caucus, please, you can walk out. Just feel free, move out and go and caucus, then come back, rather than disturbing the whole House. The honorable member for Chama North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I was saying that the Minister of Health should be aware that the Chiwale Health Facility was constructed in 2002 based on the population of 7,800, because this is a zonal center which services 3 wards, that is Nkanka, Luangwa and Chisonga. Now, Honorable Minister, the population now has increased to 19,000. So I didn't get you correctly. You mentioned about the mini hospital. Were you stating that the mini hospital is going to be constructed in Chiwale? I want you to clarify on that matter. I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Government is aware that both Chama North and South combines a district, Chama District. Chama District has got a hospital already, but looking at the distances, they cannot be serviced from Chama South. And also is the biggest population, the biggest in terms of population in the whole province. Government is fully aware, and we know even that referrals are taken to Isoka, which is about 40 kilometers away. Fully aware. But when you look at the fiscal space, we don't have that kind of money to put up a hospital at the moment, as we are trying to finish the infrastructure which has been lying around. Now, for the time being, to service our people, there are these what we are calling the mini, which you can call mini hospitals. When, like the one which is in Mazabuka, it's quite good a hospital. It has everything, except that the capacity is a bit small. But otherwise, it's to service our people in the meantime, than to wait when we have money to build the level 1 hospital. Of course, you qualify for it. look at the distance, and look at the population. But what do we do in the meantime? We give you a mean hospital to service our people. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Chama South.
Thank you, Honorable Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Minister, for the responses. Honorable Minister, before I ask my question, I would like to first thank you, because in Chama South you gave us a mini hospital, which is being constructed. I think it's at 98%. What has remained there is simply water and painting. Water and painting. Then it will be opened. Unfortunately, what is happening, some unscrupulous individuals, Madam Speaker, have actually hatched a plan where they are attacking civil servants through publishing of defamatory songs, insulting them, and some of these civil servants, particularly clinical officers, have abandoned their workstations. This morning, the same individuals are going around telling the people that this government is not serious, they are chasing workers, and yet it is them who are doing that. You will see them, they will be arrested, don't worry. Because I've mentioned that there's defamatory songs where they are insulting people, doing all sorts of things. I hope, Honorable Minister, you will come in. Now my question is, Honorable Minister, through the increased CDF, we have built a number of health institutions in our constituencies, including in Chivale, where you have promised that next year the government is going to look into the needs of the people. Are you considering deploying more staff into these many hospitals which are serving our people, especially for the people of Chama, both Chama North in Chivale as well as Chama South, so that the people can reap the benefits of what you are doing for them? I submit, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much, Honorable Member of Parliament for Chama South. First and foremost, those criminals who are chasing our workers should be reported to the police, because they are endangering the lives of the people who are supposed to be treated by our professionals. We have to treat them as criminals. We shall investigate that matter, and as a ministry we shall report and take action. And also there was a question that shall we build that mini hospital in Chama North, Chivale Place. The decision is always made by the local administration where they find there's concentration of the population. The decision where to build does not come from Lusaka, it comes from the local administration. Yes, once the mini hospitals come in fully equipped, and when you look at the money, 1.7 or closer to 2 million US dollars, it has equipment and everything. By then, we shall also have recruited some more staff. This year we are supposed to recruit 2,000. Among those will be sent to that hospital which will be built. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Chama North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, as earlier on I mentioned that Chivale Zonal Center is servicing 3 wards. And we have one of the wards, for example, like Chisunga, which is more than 100 kilometers for us to access Isoka. So usually they go to Chivale. So my question is, Honorable Minister, that the people of Chama North, especially Chivale, I think will be very happy if that mini hospital is constructed, because usually what is happening, we're having a lot of maternal deaths, Honorable Minister, for people to travel from Chisunga, Muliro to Isoka on those bad roads. Most of our women are dying on the way. So if that main hospital is constructed as quickly as possible, definitely it will save a lot of lives, especially maternal issues. I thought I should make that appeal to you, Honorable Minister. I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, my colleague, Chairman North. Be rest assured. That's why I came with the statistics. I'm aware of what is happening in that corner. This government is very responsible. Every citizen should be taken care of in terms of health care. Your place is worrying because of the distances and also the population, 140,000 in total. In normal circumstances, we are supposed to be providing health care within 5 to 10 kilometers. But as you are aware, the physical space is not there. But under this leadership of Hakainde Chilema, building it from -2 to 4, going to 6, as it goes on up, with more resources, you'll be attended to fully, adequately. We are aware, and time allowing, I'll visit your place to see exactly what is happening. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
There is an indication for a point of order. The Honorable Member for Lunte.
Thank you so much, Madam. Madam, I rise on this very serious point of order on all the backbenchers of UPND in the House. Madam Speaker, the backbenchers of UPND should not stress the frontbenchers by their inability to assist when there is important matters to converse on the floor of the House. Madam Speaker, before now, these ministers were not as stressed as they are, to an extent of causing the Minister of Home Affairs start rising on unnecessary points of orders, to an extent, Madam, of threatening arrests of members on the floor of the House.
Order, Honorable Member. Order. You cannot you cannot bring up a point of order on another point of order.
No, it's not on another.
Because you are talking about the Honorable Minister. You brought in the Minister of Home Affairs. And how do you measure stress in somebody?
I will explain. Let me explain. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if you remember, the Honorable Minister rose on a point of order against me, accusing me to have been Minister of Transport when Professor Chirwa was MD, before I even became a Member of Parliament. Today, he rises on another point of order, the same minister, saying, I do not have privilege, together with my two colleagues, to speak on the floor of the House. This is stress on the part of ministers. Are these members, these UPND backbenchers, in order not to support the UPND government, which adopted them, so as to ease the pressure from these ministers? I seek your serious ruling, Madam Speaker.
Order, honorable members. The honorable member for Lunte, you didn't even cite the standing order, and then you touched again on the point of order that was raised by the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs. Order, honorable members. So your point of order is not admissible. The honorable member for Kanchivia.
Madam Speaker, thank you. Honorable Minister, thank you so much for your statement, and allow me to commend your government's commitment to the health sector and to ensuring that you promote health and the well-being of Zambians. I just want to find out if there's any indication on the part of government to see an increased allocation to the health sector. Because clearly there's a lot of demand for health services and especially health infrastructure across the country, even in places like Anchibia, Chama North, Chama South, etc. Is there an indication from the side of government that I will see a significant increase towards especially health infrastructure in the upcoming budget? Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Did you answer? Yes. Okay. The Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you very much. Though that's a budgetary issue, which very soon it will be tabled here, depending on how we prioritize our issues. But on the government side, yes, health is standing on top. And depending on the revenues, if the releases will be there, yes, we stand to be everywhere and provide equipment, infrastructure. Very soon you'll be and also we are trying to them this year. Speaker.
The last member, the Honorable Member for Bwana Mkubwa.
And thank you, Minister of for the answers you are providing. And Madam Speaker, I should make mention, Honorable Minister, that people of Bwana Mkubwa, this next month, we are commissioning Level 1 Mushili Hospital fully kitted. We just want to thank the government and through your ministry and the Cancer Hospital, which is also in Chichele of Bwana Mkubwa constituency, is at an advanced stage. We are really grateful. But what I wanted to find out, Minister, is if you look at the design for most of these main hospitals, the Busakile, Mushili Level 1, they don't have the mortuary facility as well as the catering facility, as it were. So as you are planning even to help the people of Chama South with a Level 1 hospital in future, are you considering to add the catering facility as well as the mortuary facility, as it were? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Mwambazi. Yes, with money being available, we are ordering through ZAMSA, we are ordering mortuary units, and also even these mini hospitals, they will have them over the same time. When the equipment we are going to buy and provide, and also this will cover the whole country. I'm aware of places like Chirubi and many other places, especially in Chama, where the distances are quite far. They need to have mortuary units there. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Motions. The Honorable Member for Itestezi.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that this House adopt the report of the Committee on Local Governance, Housing and Chiefs Affairs for the 4th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on 25th July 2025.
Is the motion seconded?
Yes, Madam Speaker, it is seconded.
Seconded by the Honorable Member for Bangweulu. The question is that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Local Governance, Housing and Chiefs Affairs on the report of the Auditor General on the utilization of the Road Fund for road maintenance in Zambia 2020 to 2022 for the 4th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Friday, 25th July 2025. Any debate? The Honorable Member for Itestezi.
Madam Speaker, pursuant to Standing Orders 207G of the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024, the Local Governance, Housing and Chiefs Affairs Committee was mandated to consider the performance audit report of the Auditor General on the utilization of the road fund for road maintenance between 2020 to 2022 for the fourth session of the 13th National Assembly. I have no doubt that honorable members have had the opportunity to read the committee's report, and therefore I will restrict my comments to the key findings. Madam Speaker, the road fund is the umbrella fund where all road and fuel levies, licensing fees, loans, grants, and donations for the roads and all monies appropriated by Parliament for roads in Zambia are held. The fund is managed by the National Road Fund Agency, which is established under the National Road Fund Act number 13 of 2002 for the purpose of construction, rehabilitation, and maintenance of the road network. The agency is responsible for mobilization, administration, and maintenance of all financial resources in the road sector. Madam Speaker, the audit focused on determining whether the agency effectively utilized the road fund for maintenance of the core road network, and further it went on to assess the general management of the road fund in Zambia. In the same vein, construction and rehabilitation of roads was also assessed in comparison to the maintenance. Madam, the audit also considered the Road Development Agency and the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development as implementing agencies, while the Road Transport and Safety Agency was also engaged as the entity responsible for the collection of toll fees at ports of entry. Madam Speaker, the audit revealed that during the period under review, the road sector was preoccupied with the construction and upgrading of roads, while little emphasis was given to the maintenance of roads. Notwithstanding that toll fees collection had increased, the maintenance allocation in the road sector annual work plan did not increase at the same rate as the toll fees collection. Madam Speaker, it is clear from the foregoing that maintenance of roads has not been prioritized. This situation extends to the tolled roads, which remain in a deplorable state. In this regard, the committee recommends that the Tolls Act number 14 of 2011 be amended to include specific provisions that will ring-fence a defined portion of toll revenues exclusively for the maintenance and rehabilitation of tolled roads. This will not only ensure a sustainable funding stream for road maintenance, but to also align revenue use with the original intent of toll collection. Ultimately, this will lead to improved road quality and safety, and to enhance public confidence that the road fund was serving its intended purpose. Madam Speaker, the audit further highlighted the need for the harmonization and alignment of various pieces of legislation to prevent conflict of laws and duplication of activities, and also to enhance collaboration and coordination by the road sector agencies. This include but not limited to the Tolls Act number 14 of 2011, the Public Roads Act number 12 of 2002, and the Local Government Act number 2 of 2019. Madam Speaker, as I end, let me thank you and the Office of the Clerk of the National Assembly for the guidance and support tendered to the committee throughout its deliberations. Madam Speaker, I beg to...
Thank you. Does the seconder wish to speak now or later?
Now, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Bangweulu.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. First of all, I would like to thank the chairperson of the committee in the manner he has moved the report under consideration this afternoon. Madam Speaker, the topic that we are discussing today is very important to economic development, because one of the major ingredients for economic development is good roads in any given society. If you have good roads, it means that goods and services and people, including ideas, will move in real time. As illustrated by the chairperson in his moving of the motion, I would also want to echo, especially in terms of legal framework harmonization. Madam Speaker, you realize that Article 147 of the Constitution of Zambia, Amendment number 2 of 2016, in C, provides that the local authorities are the ones who are supposed to collect the toll fees. Again, the Roads Funds Act, number 13 of 0202, also gives that mandate to NRFA. Also, Act number 13 of the toll of 2011 gives another institution that mandate. So we have three institutions that are mandated, Madam Speaker, to collect the toll. But as I am speaking now, the Constitution, which is a principal law, mandates the local authorities to collect the toll fees, not NRFA or any other board. So there is conflict. That's why we need to ensure that we harmonize to strike a balance and come to realize that the tolls are collected by the institution that the Constitution has given mandate. That is number one, Madam Speaker. Then number two, the toll that is collected is exclusively to be used for road maintenance. But according to the Auditor General's report and the other stakeholders that appeared before the committee, mentioned to the committee that, in fact, part of the monies, the funds that are collected from toll fees are even used for debt servicing. This is not what the funds are meant for. They are meant for maintenance of roads, so that we can move our goods and services in real time without wasting a lot of time. Another point that I want to raise, Madam Speaker, is also the monies that the central government, through the devolved function, that are being channeled to local authorities. So we need to really come up with an integrated road maintenance plan in this country so that we are not working in silos. RDA maintains some roads, CDF maintains some roads. In the absence, Madam Speaker, of road maintenance integrated development plan, you will discover that I will be throwing money in different directions. At the end of the day, no real maintenance will be seen. Madam Speaker, I beg to second.
Thank you. Any further debate? The Honorable Member for Chimwemwe.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. May I also thank the Chairperson and the Vice Chairperson for moving this motion. Madam Speaker, utilization of road funds for road maintenance. Madam Speaker, your committee has traced a point where, Madam Speaker, we all know now that the funds are mingled under one account, instead of, Madam Speaker, the funds being utilized for road maintenance. Madam Speaker, I remember when the toll plazas were being constructed, the people of Chimwemwe were worried. They were worried because, Madam Speaker, they thought they were going to be charged money just to use the roads. But the government assured them, Madam Speaker, that the money they were going to pay was going to be put to good use. And good use, Madam Speaker, was to ensure that the roads were maintained. And the surplus of the money, Madam Speaker, was going to be used to do some township roads. Madam Speaker, but as we look at it this time, Madam Speaker, this is not the case. Because, Madam Speaker, the money is all sitting in one account. So it's at the discretion of the Minister of Finance, Madam Speaker, how to utilize this money. Madam Speaker, the people of Chimoemwe would rather the Minister of Finance, Madam Speaker, just gets a portion of this money, but allows this money, Madam Speaker, to be used and utilized for road maintenance. Madam Speaker, in the same report
All
of
the
your...
honorable members, the PF whip, please help me control the House. Order. Order. Order, honorable members. The honorable member for Chimwemwe, you may continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, like I was saying, if you look at your report, let me extract something that's written in your report. It says, value of ongoing signed contracts was more than the total funds available. Madam Speaker, this is what NRFA is doing. Madam Speaker, if you find management doing this, then you know that they are not serious. There's totally a problem with this management. Madam Speaker, now this is now this takes me back to the amendment bill that was brought before this House, Madam Speaker, immunity from execution of judgment. No wonder, Madam Speaker, NRFA is asking for that immunity, because they know, Madam Speaker, that they tend to have contracts signed and not have enough money. Madam Speaker, I was worried why we were having that amendment bill. Why would NRFA bring in that bill, Madam Speaker, when they have so many avenues to protect their property from possession, Madam Speaker, repossession, Madam Speaker? Madam Speaker, they've got an arbitration clause in the contract. Madam Speaker, NRFA is a party to the contract, either directly or indirectly using RDA. But Madam Speaker, at the same time, in that contract, they are able to fuse in any acts, Madam Speaker, to actually protect their property. But Madam Speaker, at the same time, they've got avenues, Madam Speaker, to segment the contract and segment the payments. But Madam Speaker, for instance, if a contract is worth 40 kwacha, and NRFA has only got 10 kwacha, Madam Speaker, they can actually phase it. Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3. Let them do with Phase 1 this particular time, and let the other phases come in, Madam Speaker, whenever they have money. But Madam Speaker, this allows the contractor as well, Madam Speaker, to plan and budget, because all the contractor has to do is, Madam Speaker, is access money or loans, Madam Speaker, just enough for that first stage. The following stage, Madam Speaker, will come in as and when NRFA has money. But Madam Speaker, I believe that we need to actually support that amendment bill, because as we can see, the property that NRFA has, Madam Speaker, stands to be lost, because the way they're running business, Madam Speaker, is questionable. But Madam Speaker, let's look at the subcontractors. It's also in your contractors report, Madam Speaker. Empower local contractors and grow them. Are we really empowering local contractors, Madam Speaker, and growing them? No, Madam Speaker. The thing is, it's 20%, Madam Speaker, which is just on paper. It's true, Madam Speaker, that most subcontractors are given that 20%. But the question that needs to be answered, Madam Speaker, is what sort of works are these are contained in this 20%? Madam Speaker, you see that the small little works, drainage construction, curbstones, culverts, Madam Speaker. And the thing is, Madam Speaker, the rates are actually prepared by the main contractor. And the main contractor, Madam Speaker, always reduces his rates on these works, Madam Speaker, in order to beat the other contractors. No person from government, Madam Speaker, has ever, Madam Speaker, gone back to check on the contract that they're giving these contractors. But Madam Speaker, we have one contractor from Chimwemwe who was given a contract for 4 million kwacha. But Madam Speaker, he was so excited because he was a first timer. But Madam Speaker, before he could even do 40% of the works, he had already utilized 3.2 million kwacha. He abandoned the works, Madam Speaker, because nobody really looked at the rates. So, Madam Speaker, we are not helping our subcontractors. I've seen the concessionary contract, Madam Speaker, from 20% it's gone to 10%. This also, Madam Speaker, we're hoping that perhaps it could go back to 20%. And in the same report, Madam Speaker, it talks about road routine maintenance. But Madam Speaker, road routine maintenance is the same thing, Madam Speaker, as the first contract, first projects of 20%. Because what's contained in road routine, Madam Speaker, it's only vegetation control, clearing debris from the same, drainages, Madam Speaker, cleaning, Madam Speaker, of pavements, painting pavements, Madam Speaker. These are small little works, Madam Speaker. If our contractors, Madam Speaker, like the way we like saying we are building capacity, how do you build capacity on small little works? This contractor, Madam Speaker, can work for 10 years, 20 years, Madam Speaker. He will never ever graduate to do any major contracts. Madam Speaker, he will be forever doing these small little contracts. Madam Speaker, then we have NCC, which continues charging these people for renewal of their licenses. Now they've noticed, Madam Speaker, that they're trying to be, I don't know whether they're trying to feel sorry for the contractors or trying to make money, Madam Speaker. They'll upgrade them from grade 6 to grade 5, just because they want money, Madam Speaker. Then we got EIZ, Madam Speaker. I don't even know why now we've allowed EIZ, Madam Speaker, to be mandatory for all contractors. Madam Speaker, they don't do anything, because all they do is they charge our small contractors, Madam Speaker, 5-6 million kwacha a year and not do anything. Because this is an organization, Madam Speaker, that we all look up to look after, Madam Speaker, the contractors. Check the contracts that are given to your small contractors, Madam Speaker. Check on the BOQ. The rates, okay, Madam Speaker, are the small little contractors going to make money? But no. So why are contractors, Madam Speaker, paying 6-5 million kwacha every year to EIZ, Madam Speaker, when it's not doing anything? Madam Speaker, I think EIZ should continue looking after the affairs of its engineers, Madam Speaker, and leave the contractors, Madam Speaker, to be looked after NCC. Madam Speaker, with those few words, I think I wish to support this motion. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Chiengi.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, to give the people of Chiengi this opportunity to add a word to this report. Madam Speaker, I will not take much time of the House. Madam Speaker, I just want to read on page 1 on the motivation of the audit. I think where it's saying, it's quite a long sentence though. The Auditor General reported that the audit was further motivated by the presidential address to Parliament during the official opening of the second session of the 13th National Assembly in 2022. In his address, the President reiterated that in its quest to improve access to rural communities, the government as at 30th June 2022 had rehabilitated and maintained over 1,000 kilometers of rural roads in central, northern, Luapula, and eastern provinces. I have a challenge, Madam Speaker. In Luapula, maybe other parts of Luapula, but the Luapula that I know, Madam Speaker, let me speak of what I see when I drive, because I'm privileged to pass through like almost the entire Luapula to go to my constituency. If you look at the roads, just starting from the roundabout of the road which goes to Luwingu, then go, the other part which goes to going to Mwense, then proceeding to Kashikishi, then Chieng. Madam Speaker, in Mwense, if you look at the township roads, it's a sad story. If you look at also the roads in Chelenge, it's a sad story. We're talking about the road infrastructure in Luapula province being rehabilitated. Maybe, I don't know which Luapula here which is being referred to. So the people of Chiengi and on behalf of Luapula, they would like to know which roads have been worked on, which have been rehabilitated. Because this is a report and is speaking contrary to what is on the ground. Even if we do not have tarmac from St. Paul's Hospital going to Chiengi, within the Chiengi, Madam Speaker, haven't seen any roads being worked on. At least if the way it used to be the time of UNIP and MMD, the roads used to be graveled, but graded and the gravel would be done, just for maintenance. Now this report, I find it not to be truthful and it's quite misleading, Madam Speaker. I therefore would like not to support this report unless the truth is coming out of this report. So I would like to find out where the RDA or RFA are taking the money to, because as the seconder has alluded to, it's reported that part of the funds which are collected by toll gates is used for debt servicing. Madam Speaker, it's very sad that the President has a good vision to improve access to the rural communities, and yet he has a report which is speaking contrary to what we have in Luapula. Most of MPs from Luapula will agree with me. It's one of the provinces, Madam Speaker, where we have bad roads. Our roads are in such bad shape. National roads, including the local roads. So I would like to know where this money was given to and how much was given to Luapula province for the maintenance. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, this report will be quite misleading and making the people of Chienge feel that maybe the monies went to the MP or the MPs of Luapula will be in trouble. There are people that the President is saying as at 30th June 2022, roads had been rehabilitated, and yet it's not so. Therefore, Madam Speaker, this report, I think, on behalf of Luapula, would like to decline to support it until we are given the funds, and we see to it that roads are really worked on in Luapula province. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chikankata.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to add a voice on this very important report. Madam Speaker, allow me also to appreciate the mover of the motion, my only brother, Honorable Mtinta, and the seconder, my friend, Honorable Kasandwe. Madam Speaker, a road is a very...
The Honorable Member for Katombola, please don't pass in front of the person debating. You may continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, a road is a very important infrastructure in the development of a country. Hence, it's very important that when we come up with a strategy for roads, it should be something that will help the whole country. Madam Speaker, I'll focus my debate on page 13 of the report, the land procurement and contract award process for road works. Madam Speaker, the length of procurement in this country in the road contract has been a challenge, which has been a cost on the part of government. I'll give you an example for Chikankata constituency. In Chikankata, in 2021, 5 roads were advertised under the World Bank Rural Connectivity. Until now, the contractor is not on site. This contractor was given 15 roads, 10 roads in Mazabuka, 5 roads in Chikankata. I'm talking right now, the contractor is still in Mazabuka since 2023. And the people of Chikankata are looking forward to have good roads because, like I've said, where there is a good road, there's development. At the moment in Chikankata, we don't have good roads for us to develop our area. So when government is giving contract, it's also important to consider that you can't give one contractor 15 roads when we have a lot of contractors in this country. However, under Chikankata, from the 5 roads, one of the biggest roads, which is Chikankata-Kasam Road, has been given to RDA. It's the same challenge. The road was advertised in January. Till today, we don't know who the contractor is. The contractor is not yet on site. Need that road. That Chikankata-Kasam Road is a very strategic road in the district because it goes to the hospital. At the end of Chikankata Road, there is a hospital, there is a secondary school, there are farmers there. So our farmers, they are failing to take the products they market because of a bad road, Madam Speaker. And also in delaying the procurement process, it means it's a cost on the side of government because there will be variation. If the road was supposed to be started in June and then you start in December, what does it mean? It means that the cost will go up through variation. So it's very important as a government that we change. If we don't have manpower at RDA, let's employ more people so that they concentrate on different roads, unlike having 1 or 2 people concentrating on all the road contracts across the country. Madam Speaker, this has been a challenge. But under the new Dawn government, we're happy that we've been given contracts across the country. But the challenge is that for contractors to come on the ground, they are saying the documents are still at AG's office. They are still doing the evaluation for the contractors. Who are suffering is the Zambians because development is being stored in our district. The second point, Madam Speaker, is the issue of road maintenance. During the first regime, we used to have road departments that were taking care of the maintenance of our roads. But at the moment, we don't have. You would find that there will be a small pothole. But because there are no people to maintain it, to maintain that road, the pothole will be growing every day. It becomes a death trap to that area. It's very important that under the new Dawn government, maybe we can introduce the road department so that we have people in all the districts who will be taking care of the maintenance of the roads every day, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the other issue is the issue of toll gates. Like in Southern Province, Madam Speaker, when you leave Lusaka, we have Shimabara toll gate. We have Choma toll gate. But at the moment, they are constructing another toll gate from Chikankara to Mazabuka. Monze, they are about to start another toll gate. Madam Speaker, it will be costly to drivers. We appreciate that we need these toll gates. But the point is that you can't have 4 toll gates within 300 kilometers of a road. So, Madam Speaker, as we are coming up with such projects, it's also important to look at the end users because it's too expensive for the driver. Instead of using 100 kwacha to buy fuel, a driver is supposed to spend 100 kwacha to pay for toll gates. So it's very important that as government we also consider the end users who are the drivers and also the people, the passengers who are using this. So it's been very expensive for people who are going for long distances, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, the main issue that I would want to say here is the issue of the length of procurement. Let's improve on the procurement processes. If we don't have manpower, let's employ more people to help us to shorten the process of procurement. With these few remarks, Madam Speaker, I support the report.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kamfinsa.
Madam Speaker, allow me to thank you most sincerely for the opportunity to add a few comments, and I'll be very quick, Madam Speaker, just to emphasize that, Madam Speaker, we are not discussing the need to introduce new legislation. Madam Speaker, we are discussing an issue that borders on provision of public services to our people. And this is why, Madam Speaker, when you read the report has identified, number one, the fact that we have legislation at constitution level and we have legislation, Madam Speaker, at Parliamentary Act level. And because, Madam Speaker, we have these variations...
Order, Honorable Member, that caucus group there, I think your voices are too loud. Where there is the Honorable Member for Mungu Central, Luena. The voices are too loud. You may continue, Honorable Member.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I was emphasizing the fact that the report acknowledges that the Constitution of Zambia, Madam Speaker, is very clear on who has the exclusive mandate to administer revenue from toll gates. I'm sure the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Infrastructure has had time to look at the provision that is provided for, Madam Speaker, in the Constitution of Zambia. The Constitution of Zambia, Madam Speaker, is very clear on who has the mandate to administer toll fees. And this is the subject matter today, Madam Speaker, revenue coming from toll collections. Secondly, Madam Speaker, the report acknowledges that despite having a provision in the Republican Constitution, which deals with this particular aspect, Madam Speaker, unfortunately, there are other subsidiary legislations, there are acts of parliament, Madam Speaker, that are empowering other institutions of government. And in this case, we have institutions such as the National Road Fund that has been administering the same income that ideally, in line with the Constitution of Zambia, is money that is supposed to go to various local authorities.
The Honorable Member for Kamfinsa, you are a committee member for this report.
Yes, I can debate, Madam Speaker.
Yes, but there are other members who would rather give priority to the other members, unless if there are no members indicating.
Yeah, but the law doesn't prevent me from debating.
The Honorable Member for Kamfinsa, in 1 minute, please wind up your debate so that we give chance to the other members who are not.
Thank you for your kindness, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I was emphasizing, and I'm sure as others come to debate, the fact remains. We have the Constitution of Zambia, Madam Speaker, which is the supreme law of this country. The Constitution of Zambia empowers local authorities where all these constituencies, Madam Speaker, are coming from. The fact that the Constitution says in Kitwe, if there's a toll gate, the money should go to the local authority. Madam Speaker, if that was the case, then we would be able to hold accountable these local authorities to do the actual road maintenance that we are supposed to do. And this has been emphasized in the report that the committee has presented today, that despite the Constitution empowering local authorities, Madam Speaker, we have other institutions of government that are collecting this revenue. And as a result, Madam Speaker, we don't have adequate resources going to these respective constituencies. So as I support the report, Madam Speaker, I hope that the Minister will respond to those particular aspects. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Kanyama.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity that you have given the people of Kanyama to add a voice. Madam Speaker, this report on the utilization of the road fund for road maintenance in Zambia is a welcome report. People from Kanyama would want to see themselves even having these roads, be done in. You start wondering as to why we don't have roads in Kanyama when we have got such, programs. So there are some of the issues that we need to look at seriously. If you look at the effects of not having good roads, is these perpetual floods that we experience in Kanyama. Very soon we'll have rains and we'll be singing about the same thing. So, but when we have proper roads that are done in Kanyama, I think these issues will be minimized. Madam Speaker, having said that, I just want to look at one important issue that has touched my attention. On page 4 of your report, Madam Speaker, where it says stakeholders further submitted that while the subcontracting registration aimed to promote the participation of local contractors in the road sector, local contractors did not get value for their money for projects as large-scale main contractors, predominantly foreign-owned, dictated how prices and cut subcontracted works for Zambian SMEs. I don't want to go into the details, technicalities. I just want to look at this registration, where the government, I want to thank the government by reiterating that we need to ensure that our local contractors, manufacturers, and whoever are given first priority. Madam Speaker, why are we not enhancing the issue of our local contractors to be independent other than dependent on to be subcontracted? When are we going to stand on our 2 feet? Because already the system, you look at this report is 2020, 2022. We found a system where certain people held all the contracts and the like. But thank God, this government has said, no, let us learn step by step. As we are doing that, we want our local contractors, our own people, to be at the top of getting these contracts. So, if only we can hasten this good program that government has put in place, you realize that our local contractors will be happy. They will be able to compete with the foreign contractors, looking at the legislation that is put in place. Madam Speaker, if we don't do that, it's like at a family level, you have got children who you know you need to take to school, and it's you who needs to fund them. And if you don't find them, you expect them to do wonders or to participate, compete with those that have been funded. Madam Speaker, that does not work like that. So since these are our children, let us make sure that whatever laws that are impeding them from achieving that which the government wants them to be achieved, you realize that we are not going to go forward. We just be talking in theory, law contractors, SMEs, and the like, without achieving that which is designed in our rules and policies that are being, put across to ensure that our people, our local manufacturers, our local contractors are given and are independent into participating or competing with these other foreign entities. It's challenging. Looking at, if you read further into this report, you realize that there are certain documents that we expect our local contractors to have, and knowing that it's practically impossible for them to get that. At the same time, we want these same local contractors to compete. So what we do in such a scenario? Let us try and see how best we can flex the rules that are required, so that as they move forward, we'll be able now to come in with those standard measures for them to acquire those documents that we want. It will be something that possibly for myself I would want for the people of Zambia. We need to stand on our 2 feet, Madam Speaker, other than all the time being dependent on people. Madam Speaker, with this few remarks, I want to support the report. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. The Honourable Member from Porokoso.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson, for this opportunity to debate the report on the floor of the House. Madam Speaker, the objective of the audit was to assess the extent to which the National Road Fund Agency has effectively utilized the road fund and prioritized road maintenance. I will address the audit question, and the audit questions were: one, to what extent the road fund has been managed in a sustainable manner to facilitate the effective utilization of the road fund. The recommendations of the report, Madam Speaker, the committee recommended that National Road Fund Agency, through the Ministry of Finance, should consider revising the Tolls Act number 14 of 2011 to ensure that the toll fees are exclusively ring-fenced and maintenance of tolls and other roads. Madam Speaker, this is a very important recommendation. If we look at the reason for setting up the National Road Fund Agency, as outlined in the report, was to collect and pool these tolls so that they are applied on road maintenance and indeed, road repairs and construction. Madam Speaker, the report should have highlighted also that there is need to do away with middlemen. There is need to do away with middlemen, as the cases may be, and specifically in the case of the Ndola-Lusaka dual carriageway. To be able to maximize revenue mobilization by the National Road Fund Agency, there is need to do away with middlemen. Madam Speaker, what has happened is that when you look at the entire resource basket, I think the focus for the National Road Fund Agency, through Ministry of Finance, was to focus on the busy roads, because that is where they were going to maximize the collection of tolls. And the sections that are very busy, include the Lusaka and Ndola dual carriageway. Madam Speaker, if you look at the Mufurila Mukambo border, I think which was concessioned recently, is yet another very busy road. So even as we endeavor to revise the Toll Act of number 14 of 2011, the focus really should be, we should be very slow in giving away the busy sections of most of these roads. And also, Madam Speaker, as we do all this, a Zambian must be put first. What has happened in our country, even as we create these tolls, we make it very difficult sometimes and do not provide alternatives for Zambians to use in the event that they do not have or they cannot afford to pay for those tolls. What we have seen in other jurisdictions, Madam Speaker, is that when there's a concessionaire proposing to build a road, a tolled road, they should also propose alternatives for those that may not afford, the expensive the road option with the one that they're building. Now, to just build tolls on the main road and only roads is sometimes unfair to the locals that may not be able to afford. That is the reason why a National Road Fund agency must also think further by ensuring that it may not be necessary to give away the entire road on concession. Sometimes they can be given away in sections, so that in particular sections, elevated roads can be built, and the ordinary and original road is left for the locals to use. It's very important that even as we come up with these policies, we put a Zambian first and make sure that they also have options going forward. So to sum it up on that, Madam Speaker, the National Road Fund Agency should ensure that they maximize collections, especially in areas where we have busy sections. The report on 3.1.2 talks about foreign versus local contractors. Madam Speaker, this has been a very, very interesting and difficult subject. The intention of government has been that 10 years ago when the policy came up was to try and build local capacity. Local capacity by ensuring that on big road contracts, there's a certain percentage that is given to Zambians. And the idea was that over the years, there should be a graduation process to a level where at some point they should go 50-50. But 10 years later, we find that they are still at 20%. And in most cases, when you do the audit, you actually find that the work that is done by the subcontractors or local contractors is even below 5%. So going forward, Madam Speaker, it's important that the National Road Fund Agency is very strict at solicitation level. The contractor must be able to disclose the extent of works, the scope of works that will be given away to subcontractors, and that in the subsequent bids, these big contractors must be audited. When they're disclosing similar works that they did previously, they must also be able to disclose in their fresh bids the work that they did with the subcontractors and to what extent these subcontractors were guided. Because what's happening, Madam Speaker, the impact that it has had on our economy is that a lot of money is actually going out of the country because we are paying foreign contractors huge amounts of money. I think as government should focus on ensuring that most of that money is actually returned. In other jurisdictions, Madam Speaker, what has happened is contracts are actually awarded to the locals, and the locals are the ones that now subcontract, the foreign, the big contractors from outside the country. That way, you are sure that the participation by the local contractor is actually in full. Because what's happening in our case, in many cases, these subcontractors only exist in name. They merely forward papers and, they're given some commissions of some sort and it ends there. But government will not benefit from this initiative if they don't ensure that whoever appears as a subcontractor does actually execute works as a subcontractor. So that going forward, these are the same contractors who will be able to maintain these roads going forward. So National Road Fund Agency, the idea, the supervision aspect of it, when you go on site, you must ensure that you confirm that these subcontractors actually exist and be able to evaluate and assess the works that are done. In that way, we'll fully realize the benefit of these particular policies. Madam Speaker, with those few words I wish to submit. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Mitete.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Right on this page, page 6, debt sustainability. The audit established that NRFA had contracted local debt in excess of 5.9 billion kwacha between 2017 and 2021. Katunda Lukulu Watopa Mbej Road suffering, but money here. That is internal. External, the same period, 2017 to 2021, 6.7 billion US dollar. These are the problems. This is the genesis of the problems. What is happening now is to pay this debt first. But as they are paying this debt, now, where is Katunda Lukulu Watopa Mbej Road during this period? It's only now that there is light at the end of the tunnel over this road. Only now. Minister of Infrastructure. If you know the dancing which is already there, even before the signing, they are promising to bring Likishi, Shabukolo, when the signing with a contractor, a genuine contractor, would be done this year. Madam Speaker, I may not have a target in between Mitete and Lukulu, or Mitete and Kalavo, or Mitete and Zambezi, but the fact that I'm here, I pay target from Mitete to here, meaning whatever is collected, even from me and all those from Mitete, must also be used in Mitete. Look here, from Mitete to here, I don't fly. I use somewhere. So that somewhere, Madam Speaker, which I normally use from Mitete to here, must be a road, with money coming from all the toffees that we do pay, all of us from Mitete and Lukulu who do come to here. We've never flown. So that is the essence of this report. Yes, we may have the challenges, but I'm urging the minister now and the agency to be using the money now prudently. That is what I'm urging them to do for now. I'll repeat. Lukulu, Mitete, Mangango, Chavuma, Zambezi, Kabompo, Manyinga, Luampa. We are ready with all. Shabukolo is Likishi, a mask. Shabukolo, Chikuza, Ndo, all those will be there. Utenu, Kanjenjela, the famous one. The very day, we only hope it is soon that the minister will say, we are now signing. here is the contractor. More so the very day the contractor will start working. That's what we need. We should borrow and borrow to make use of the money properly. We may be crying now. Yes, because whatever borrowing was being done, wherever the money went, I'm unable to explain. Maybe those who were there, Madam Speaker, would be best placed to explain where the money borrowed went. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The last member, the Honorable Member for Shiwangandu.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I wish I could explain to my colleague what has happened to the road he's talking about, which has, since he became MP, Madam Speaker, that has been his cry. And I was thinking by now, he was assured by the Honorable Minister of Infrastructure seated there, that he was going to find
The Honorable
a
Member for
concession here
Shiwangandu, please
to take up
start
that
your
road.
debate.
I'm surprised he's still talking about it, because he was assured on the floor, Madam Speaker.
Respond. The Minister will respond. Go
I was
straight
just
to your
wondering,
debate.
Madam Speaker, that he has continued with that cry when he was assured on the floor by the Honorable Minister of Infrastructure. Madam Speaker, I would like to make a few comments on the motion on the floor, and my focus will be on the the issue raised in your report on page 7 regarding the legal framework for resource mobilization and utilization. Madam Speaker, your report states, and I quote, the audit reviewed that the NFRA and RFA, through the Ministry of Finance and National Planning, should consider revising the Tolls Act number 14 of 2011 to ensure that toll fees were exclusively ring-fenced for maintenance of tolled and other roads. Madam Speaker, it's worth noting that by the time this act was being passed, the Constitution of 2016 had not been, put in place. So, with the Constitution, which provides, and I quote, Madam Speaker, under Article 147 and Annex C to the provision provided for a devolved system of governance with toll fees as an exclusive function of the local authority. What this simply meant, Madam Speaker, was that the local authorities were going to be the ones carrying the mandate of maintenance of roads areas, and therefore they needed to have of resource where they could have been drawing money ring-fenced for maintenance of roadworks. Unfortunately, this is not the case, Madam Speaker. So we have continued with this match of getting these funds from the toll gates, from the tolls, to go into a commingled pool where this money is not ring. And this has posed a challenge, Madam Speaker. And between the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Infrastructure, this must be sorted out, because we have continued to flout the laws and the legal framework. Worse still, Madam Speaker, now there are even statutory instruments that have been issued to give away these toll facilities to concessionaires. Now, when you look at the provisions of the law, Madam Speaker, the same Act of 2011 I'm referring to provides that the toll fee or other charge imposed for a toll route and collected by the agency shall form part of the road fund and shall be used exclusively for the construction, maintenance, and rehabilitation of roads. that are told. Now we have got these SIs which will be found wanting. Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, you listen. I know you have got a conversation there. Those statutory instruments you are using are unconstitutional if you follow the provisions.
Just concentrate on your debate. In fact, you are addressing me, not the Minister of Infrastructure.
Madam Speaker, I'm addressing the two ministers through you. Minister of Finance, because they're the ones cited in this report.
Just
so through you, I'm addressing them that those statutory instruments they are using will be found to be unconstitutional, of giving away the toll facilities to the concessionaires who are yet to even finish the roads that they are collecting money for. Because here it's clear, Madam Speaker, of what the law states. So those irregularities must be dealt with. I'm not quoting anything, Madam Speaker. I'm quoting the law as highlighted by your report. So, first of all, this act must be amended because it was done in 2011 before the Constitution. Now, with the Constitution in place, the act must be aligned so that it's not in conflict with the Constitution. And that's what I'm saying. So that these irregularities they are making of issuing statutory instruments to give away the targets for someone to collect money for the road they haven't even finished constructing is rooted. It's illegal, according to what we are getting here. And if people are not reading, that's why, Madam Speaker, it's important when your reports come here, we reflect on them and we bring issues out on behalf of the people. Madam Speaker, the issue of road maintenance has been with us for a long time, and I heard the honorable member for my dear late colleague there was complaining about how it used to be in the past, the road maintenance between the roads, the roads, what was then called Roads Department, working together with the local authorities. It was very clear on who was responsible for the maintenance of roads. Because, Madam Speaker, the most expensive component of road network is maintenance. And if you allow roads to go for a long time without maintenance, it becomes even more expensive to do maintenance. That's why there was that rationale to say, let's find a guaranteed resource to use for road maintenance. And that's how those toll gates were established. Now, it has become like a business. That was not meant for business, as we are seeing now, where the Minister of Infrastructure could quickly give away toll gates on roads that are yet to be constructed to a concessionaire. How? It's unconstitutional, Madam Speaker, as we are learning here. And we don't have to wait for other roads to fall under the same arrangement for us to realize that we need to remedy this situation. It's here, Madam Speaker, in your report. I'm not making things from nowhere where people say I'm politicking. Your report is very, very clear. I therefore request that the two honorable ministers there, Finance, National Planning, and Infrastructure, stop doing irregularities and illegal things. Those statutory instruments cannot supersede the Constitution and the Act. Madam Speaker, I'll be waiting to see the harmonization and the adherence to the law. I thank you.
Thank you. I have to invite the Honorable Minister to respond. The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to respond to this report. And I also thank your committee for the observations and recommendations, and they indicate that they are well noted by the ministry and by the government. Madam Speaker, listening to some of these people speak, it is as if they were not in government. We are talking about the Tolls Act number 14 of 2011, that it needs to be harmonized with the Constitution. The Tolls Act number 14 of 2011 was enacted by them. The Constitution was enacted by them. They should reflect on those things. That when we are trying to clean up the mess, we should be given space to do it, should be given time to do it. So let me react to a few observations of the committee. The road tolls indeed form part of the road fund, and by law as provided for in the Tolls Act, the road fund must be applied to the construction, rehabilitation and maintenance of roads. I must state that the road fund remains inadequate given the size of the road network. Hence, government is attracting private sector investment into the road sector through public-private partnerships in order to bring in private sector financing of road construction. Statistics. The total length of the road network in this country is estimated at 60,000 kilometers, out of which 40,000 kilometers is what is designated as the core road network. When you look at so many kilometers, and I'm also very happy to get an admission from the Honorable Member for Chiengi that herself and other members from Wapula are now stating that the road network in Wapula is in very poor condition. That's an admission. And yet, when we are listening to maiden speeches, when we opened this 13th National Assembly, everyone from there was saying how happy they were with the work that had been done on their roads. It had to take me to come here and say, look, I've been all over this country. I have not seen this massive infrastructure that you keep talking about. Now you are agreeing with us, but that is an indication of how serious the problem is. Because the UPND government, the New Dawn government, in addressing these issues, has got to look at legacy issues, backlog from the years of neglect during that term in office. Madam Speaker, on the issue of local contractor participation, government has taken deliberate steps to empower Zambian contractors. The public procurement regulations of 2022 mandates a minimum of 20% subcontracting for foreign bidders, while the Public-Private Partnerships Act number 24 compels a 10% allocation for citizens' participation in concessioned works. On several occasions, I have personally directed the Road Development Agency and the contractors to effectively implement the government policy that is backed by legislation and the regulations. I have further directed on several occasions the National Council for Constructions, who are the regulators, to enforce these regulations. The objective of subcontracting is to empower local contractors and build capacity for them to be able to undertake more advanced and complicated projects. The other objective is to ensure local contractors benefit from the knowledge and the skills transfer as they work as subcontractors, including work culture and ethics. We have gone further to ensure that all routine maintenance contracts are now reserved for local contractors. Our local contractors also have a role to play in building their own capacities. They must adhere to the work ethics and deliver quality. This is where we have a problem. And I'm absolutely shocked when the Honorable Member for Procoso, if he's still here, is he still here? When he was making his maiden speech, because I haven't heard him talk in this parliament, today is the maiden speech, saying that the Zambian subcontractors are the ones that should get the main contract, and then they subcontract to foreign contractors. He is in this business. He knows how much problems we are getting with low quality work being delivered on account of people being... The work ethics is what we're talking about. People were used to free money from the last government. And some of those getting contracts were proved they are unable to undertake work. We in the New Dawn government are using this and preaching every day that they must deliver quality. We have gone further to ensure that any work that is done must, number one, conform to the quality consideration, to the cost considerations, that is right cost, but also overriding all considerations is the need to deliver quality. As far as I'm a minister in this ministry, the issue of quality must be number one. We have seen cases where work has been done and within 4 years that road fails in spite of the high cost. We want Zambians to participate, but we want them to have the work ethics to be able to deliver quality, work with an international contractor, and take on the work culture of those international contractors. So, the government has stopped all contractors. We're talking about the date within the roads sector. This is an issue that concerns us as a government. And as a result of that, government has stopped all unsustainable borrowing and has instead scaled up the use of public-private partnerships to finance road infrastructure. And since we took over as government in 2021, this government has signed 11 PPP concession agreements, including flagship projects such as Lusaka-Ndola Dual Carriageway, Ndola-Mufuria-Sakania, and Chingola-Kasumbalesa Road. Those who have used it can attest to the quality that has been delivered. Madam Speaker, I note the committee's concerns regarding the inadequate prioritization of routine and periodic maintenance. Maintenance is cheaper, we agree, than reconstruction. And its neglect only compounds our future liabilities. And that is why we have taken steps to ensure that we return to the days of road maintenance within each and every province. There was no equipment during our colleagues in office. RDA was there to give contracts to their cadres, and yet they had so many engineers. What we are saying is now they will have engineers. We also take note, Madam Speaker, that through local councils, through CDF, a number of our local councils now have been equipped with various equipment so they can undertake certain types of road works. This will be expanded to ensure that even on bituminous roads, our councils can undertake certain works. My member of parliament, because I'm a Kafinsa resident myself, is talking about the harmonization of the Tolls Act as well as the Constitution. Again, I go back to him. Where were they when they should have done this? But more than that, if the question is removal of lacunas within the Constitution, perhaps they should have supported Bill number 7, so that we harmonize not only this, but other lacunas. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Itestezi, please wind up debate.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank my Vice Chair, who ably seconded the motion. And I would also want to extend gratitude, Madam Speaker, to the other speakers, the Honourable Members of Parliament who spoke, the Member of Parliament for Chimwemwe, the Member of Parliament for Chiengi, Chikankata, Kamfinsa, the Member of Parliament for Kanyama, Honorable Mundubile and the Member of Parliament for Mitete and Shiwangando. We thank them for the issues that they raised, Madam Speaker, and most sincerely we thank the Honorable Minister for the assurance that the pertinent issues that have been raised in this audit, some of them are already being addressed by his ministry, others will be addressed, particularly the issue of quality works, aligning the legal framework and the unsustainable borrowing. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. I put the question. The question is that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Local Governance, Housing and Chiefs Affairs, on the report of the Auditor General, on the utilization of the Road Fund for Road Maintenance in Zambia, 2020 to 2022, for the fourth session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Friday, 25th July 2025. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Honorable members, can we please be serious? As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. Or the contrary say no. I think the ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Next motion, the Honorable Member for Chasefu.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Local Government Accounts, on the report of the Auditor General, on the audit of accounts of local authorities for the financial year ended 31st December 2023 for the fourth session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday 29th July 2025.
Is the motion seconded? Was it on the mic?
Seconded, Madam Speaker.
Seconded by the Honorable Member for Mandevu. The question is that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Local Government Accounts, on the report of the Auditor General, on the audit of accounts of local authorities for the financial year ended 31st December 2023, for the fourth session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 29th July 2025. Any debate? The Honorable Member for Chasefu.
Madam Speaker, in line with the terms of reference, the committee considered the aforementioned report of the Auditor General and interacted with accounting authorities and other relevant stakeholders on the subject matter. The interactions revealed various weaknesses in the management of public funds and the operations of councils, upon which the committee has made observations and recommendations. I'm confident that the honorable members have had occasion to read the committee's report. Allow me at this point to highlight a few findings of the committee and the recommendations thereof. Madam Speaker, the committee observes with concern that councils are still grappling with the challenges of revenue collection. Coupled with this is the inability by most councils to make realistic budgets which are consistent with the number of business activities being undertaken in the respective districts. Additionally, the councils have become complacent to the extent of failing to formulate strategies to enhance on-source revenue and have become highly dependent on the Local Government Equalization Fund. Madam Speaker, the committee also contends that the low collection of revenue has a direct negative effect on the delivery of social services such as street lighting and garbage collection, amongst others. Madam Speaker, it is sad to note that due to failure to collect revenue, local authorities are failing to provide 5% of their revenue as a ward development fund. Regrettably, some councils are now slowly crawling back to salary arrears as they are failing to pay salaries on time. In view of this, the committee urges the accounting authority to be proactive, innovative, and pragmatic by formulating robust revenue collection measures. The committee further urges the accounting authorities to migrate from cash payment system, which are prone to leakages and human interference, to digital payment platforms. The committee also observes with concern the poor management of movable assets. Madam Speaker, the committee observes that most councils do not insure their utility vehicles and the fire tenders, while those that had undertaken to insure vehicles did not pay the full premium. Consequently, the vehicles and the fire tenders that had been involved in road traffic accidents had become non-functional as the insurance companies could not undertake repairs. Madam Speaker, the committee further notes that the main cause, especially for the fire tenders, is that the insurance was done centrally by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, while in other cases, failure to insure the vehicles was a result of poor management. Madam Speaker, while on the same challenge of asset management, the committee is disappointed to note that in some local authorities, officers have personalized council property, such as laptops and cameras, with impunity and without regard to the regulations. The committee finds this highly unacceptable. In light of this, the committee urges the executive to ensure that asset management is enhanced by formulating asset management policies and instituting punitive measures against officers who willfully abrogate them. Madam Speaker, another matter of concern is the apparent inadequate collaboration between the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development and the Local Government Service Commission, which resulted in over and under employment of staff in certain local authorities. It has also led to lack of adherence to official instructions issued through various government circulars and delaying to institute disciplinary measures against officers who are found wanting. In this regard, the committee urges the executive to put measures in place to ensure that there is adherence, there is enhanced collaboration between the Local Government Service Commission, who are the employers, and the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, who are the supervisors of local authorities. Madam Speaker, the committee further urges the Local Government Service Commission to expeditiously address confirmations of staff and overemployment matters in councils without delay. The Commission should also ensure that disciplining of erring officers is done expeditiously as opposed to merely effecting transfers. Madam Speaker, lastly but not the least, another urgent issue that requires attention without delay is the payment of allowances to retirees in the local government system who are still on the payroll. While acknowledging the provision of Article 189(2) of the Constitution of Zambia, Chapter 1 of the Laws of Zambia, which provides that where a pension benefit is not paid on a person's last working day, that person shall stop work, but the person's name shall be retained on the payroll until payment of pension benefits based on the last salary received by the person while on the payroll. There seems to be lack of consistency, Madam Speaker, and uniformity with regard to payment of various allowances which an officer could have been entitled to. Let me conclude, Madam Speaker, by thanking you and the Office of the Clerk for the guidance and support you rendered to the committee during its deliberations. I further wish to thank all the stakeholders that appeared before it and the technical support rendered to it by the permanent witnesses. Madam Speaker, I also wish to appreciate the members of the committee for their cooperation and dedication to committee work, which made my role as chairperson very easy. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you. Does the seconder wish to speak now or later?
Now, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Mandevu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to thank the mover of the motion, our able chair, Honorable Nyambose, in the able manner in which he has highlighted the critical issues contained in the committee's report. In seconding the motion, allow me to comment on a few committee's observations and recommendations which the mover has not touched on. Number one, failure to remit statutory obligations. Madam Speaker, the committee observes that out of 109 out of 116 councils owed various institutions amounts totaling 3,552,262,654 kwacha in respect of tax, pension, insurance, and supply of goods and services, some of which had been outstanding from as far back as 2013. It is noteworthy that most of the councils have no capacity to liquidate their debts and lack strategies to do so, Madam Speaker. The committee finds this unacceptable and urges the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, together with the Ministry of Finance and National Planning, to find a lasting, sustainable solution to this overreaching challenge. Number two,
weak internal control systems. Madam Speaker, with respect to weak internal control systems, the committee learned that most local authorities had poor internal control systems, resulting in unsupported payments amounting to 2,073,779 kwacha made by 12 councils. 6 councils had missing paid vouchers amounting to 3,683,718 kwacha, while 379,067 kwacha was unacquitted during the period under review. The committee urges the executive to strengthen the audit function in local authorities. Furthermore, the committee recommends that officers who fail to execute their fiduciary duty should be surcharged under their conditions of service and matters dealt with to the end. 3. Propensity to use force accounts to implement projects. Madam Speaker, of great concern is the propensity and appetite by local to use force account to implement capital projects under the Local Government Equalization Fund. While acknowledging that the government has authorized local authorities to utilize 100% of the Local Government Equalization Fund on operations, the committee therefore strongly recommends that the local authorities should desist from using force accounts, which are usually a conduit for misapplication of funds and implementation of poor quality capital projects. 4. Failure to settle staff obligations. Madam Speaker, to augment the submission of the Chair on the payment of allowances vis-à-vis being cognizant of the provisions of Article 189 of the Constitution of Zambia, the committee notes with concern that 81 councils owed former and existing employees amounting to 358,097,412 kwacha in respect of long service bonus, leave travel benefits, some of which had been outstanding from as far back as 2009. Madam Speaker, with these few words, I beg to second and thank you.
Thank you. Any further debate? The Honorable Member for Chiruvi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think as a starting point, I would like to say that local government constitutionally is an engine of development at local level. And Madam Speaker, I have watched with interest when the sessions that we are going into this same accounts, local government accounts, were happening. And I think we are doing witch hunting on a lot of things that we have not invested in. Madam Speaker, what I mean is that, for instance, the Constitution is very, very clear about how we are supposed to devolve. The Constitution is further qualifying, for instance, it has Article 147 that talks about devolution, but the Constitution article, which even takes away the local authorities from the domain of the influence of province and national structures, is 152. And it positions a local authority as an implementer of projects at district level. Madam Speaker, I know that we will come back here, talk and talk, but as far as we don't follow the law and what the law stipulates, we will be shooting in the dark. Madam Speaker, when we talk about the local authorities, exclusive functions, I remember when we were talking about the other one, I think the former Minister of Local Government tabulated very well, Honorable Kampiongo, on Annex 6 of the Constitution, which tabulates all the factors. For instance, Madam Speaker, I would give my district as an example. of how this was attended to. This audit was talking about the council failing to collect fish levy and many other factors. But Madam Speaker, when you look at Chilubi, if you look at Chilubi and scrutinize Chilubi, the avenues of collecting money are very limited. And it is not supposed to be a direct responsibility of the local authority, but it's supposed to be the responsibility of central government to invest in areas that are supposed to facilitate the local authority's capacity to collect revenue. Madam Speaker, what I mean is that when you go to Chilubi, we are struggling with issues of water canals, we are struggling with roads, which were cancelled under those 198 that were cancelled, and many other. The local authority uses the same roads. They use the same routes. For them to know how the people are fishing in water and make a barrier in the swamps, they need to have an access road to reach the swamps.
Order, Honorable Member. As the time is 16:40 hours, I suspend business for 20 minutes for health break.
Afternoon, thank you so much. You are still watching Parliament Television, the only station dedicated to bringing Parliament closer to you. And business has been suspended for 20 minutes health break. At the time business was suspended for 20 minutes health break, the House was considering a motion moved by Chairperson Member of Parliament, Mr. Mishek Nyambose, urging the House to adopt the report over the Committee on Local Government Accounts, on the report over the Auditor General, on the audit accounts of local authorities for the financial year ended 31st December 2023, for the fourth session over the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table over the House on Tuesday, 29th July 2025, and this motion was seconded by Mr. Christopher Shakafoswa, who is the Vice Chairperson for this committee.
And of course, Chilubi Member of Parliament, Mr. Mlenga Fube, was adding his voice to this motion that is under consideration. So, business of the House is with that at 17 hours. We also have a look at the announcements that have been made since the House started sitting at 14:30 hours, beginning with an announcement in which the Honorable Madam First Deputy Speaker recognized the pupils and teachers from Jolly World School in Kalomo District and also Major Kana Secondary School in Kalomo District. And on behalf of the National Assembly, Madam Deputy Speaker did welcome the visitors in the National Assembly.
The other announcement, Madam Speaker, the to the effect that in the absence of our Honor the Vice President, who was attending to other government business, the Minister of Defense, Honorable Abros L. Lufuma MP, has been appointed acting leader of government business in the House from today, Wednesday, 30th July 2025, until further notice.
And in another announcement, the Honorable Madam First Deputy Speaker informed the House that on 12th May 2025, 1 acre farm OAF donated 2,000 Musangus trees in support of Madam Speaker's Plant a Tree Challenge initiative. And in order to promote this initiative in all the constituencies, it has been decided that these trees be distributed amongst all members of Parliament and selected staff. She said that each member of Parliament will receive at least 10 trees to be planted within their respective constituencies so as to promote environmental sustainability in their local communities. And in this regard, all honorable members of Parliament and selected staff are requested to visit the engineering department to collect their allocated number of trees before they leave for their respective constituencies on Friday, 1st August 2025.
Yes, indeed. So we urge you to stay glued right here on Parliament TV, the only station dedicated to bringing Parliament up closer to you. We still have orders of the day to be considered today. These are the Lands and Deeds Registry Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 13 of 2025 to be considered as second reading. The Superior Court's number of judges Bill, National Assembly Bill number 15 over 2025 to be considered at a committee stage.
And there's also the Border Management and the Trade Facilitation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 5 of 2025, to be considered at a third reading stage. So this is some of the business expected when the House resumes sitting at 17 hours. So for now, watching.